Story Time is brought to you by
न्यूयॉर्क में पाकिस्तानी अमेरिकन की रहनुमाई। पाकिस्तान अमेरिकन एसोसिएशन ऑफ न्यूयॉर्क का खासा है। अमेरिकन पाकिस्तानियों के बाइज्जत और बावकार मकाम के लिए कोशां। पैनी का हर कदम आपके हम कदम।
To all the children living in the US, Canada and UK, we say Assalamu Alaikum and we welcome you all to another great session of Story Time when we listen to stories from Holy Quran. Now before we start today's story, and today's story is a very special story about a very special prophet of Allah, let's see who is here with us today.
My name is Laiva. I'm class 2E.
Okay, Larry.
Hello everyone, it's Isha and waiting to listen to an interesting story.
Okay, Isha.
Hey, there is Muhammad was Khan.
Moaz.
Hey, it's Harim Khan from grade 7 and I'm here to listen to some inspiring stories.
Okay, and Harim. Now today our story is about a very special prophet, Prophet Ibrahim. Okay, and he is considered the great grandfather of all the great prophets because within his family there have been very known and great prophets that came to the world. Okay, now Hazrat Ibrahim was born in a city in Iraq. Do you know the name of the city?
Where was he born?
He was born in Ur, Iraq. It's a city in Iraq. Okay? And his father was an idol worshipper. His father used to worship idols. And even the king of that country worshipped idols. They were all idol worshippers.
What was the name of his father?
His name, the name of his father was Azar. And you know what Azar means?
Idol.
Azar means someone who loves idols.
Oh.
So he loved idols so much that they called him Azar, the idol worshipper. And even the king of the country was an idol worshipper. And one more thing, the king of the country called himself a god.
Why was he called a god?
He called himself God because he said that I give birth to people and I give death to people and this whole kingdom belongs to me and everyone here is my servant and I'm their king and I'm their God.
What was the name of the king?
Namrud.
Oh.
He pretended.
He pretended to be God.
People of Ur were non-believers.
They were all non-believers except for one person and that was Hazrat Ibrahim.
So he was a non-believer from his birth or was
Yes.
he...
No, he was a believer right from his birth. So the way the story goes...
But who told him in his childhood?
Yes, and we are going to listen to this. This is the most interesting question. And this whole story is about answering this question. This is the main question. Now the way story goes, that right at the time of Hazrat Ibrahim's birth, some people told Nimrud that very soon there will be a child in your kingdom who will finish you, who will destroy your kingdom. And Nimrud was very upset. So he started killing all the children that were born at that time. And when Hazrat Ibrahim was born, Allah guided Hazrat Ibrahim's mother to take him to a cave and hide there. So Hazrat Ibrahim's mother took Hazrat Ibrahim to a cave and left him there, tiny baby. And every day she would go to the cave, move the stone that she left at the door of the cave, opening of the cave, and then she would go in And she went there to feed the baby. But you know what she noticed? That baby is sucking his thumb, and food is going into his mouth from his thumb. So Allah was feeding Hazrat Ibrahim. The food was going from his thumb. And that was some special food that Ibrahim was getting bigger and bigger by the day. He was not taking weeks or months to grow. Every day was like 1 year for him. Every day he would grow like we grow in 1 year. So he kept growing and growing and growing. And when he became a grown-up man, he first went to his father and he looked what his father was doing. And you know what his father used to do?
He used to carve, I think so, idols or something.
Yes.
And sell them.
And sell them. He used to make idols and sell them. And Hazrat Ibrahim, for some reason, didn't like it. He didn't like idols. So he left his home and went outside and sat on a mountain and started looking around. And first he looked at the stars and said, maybe these are my God. And he kept looking at them till the morning. And morning came. And what happens to stars when they...
Stars
gone.
Stars gone.
Stars finished.
Stars finished. And he said, something which is gone cannot be my God. And then sun. What comes in the morning?
Sun.
Sun. And he said, wow, sun is even bigger. Maybe sun is my God. And he kept looking at the sun. And what happens in the evening to sun?
It sets.
It sets. It disappears. And he said, no, even sun cannot be my God. And then he realized, the one who made everything is my God. The one who made these stars and sun and moon and these mountains and birds and animals, he is Allah. He is my God.
So how did you get to know that Allah?
He thought about it. See, if you think, if you look around, then you would know that someone has created this whole universe.
We know that someone has created this world and
You mean the name Allah?
Yes.
Right? Yes. So he said that the one who created, he didn't say the name. He said, the one who created everything is my Lord, is the one I should worship. And right then, the angel came and he said, congratulations.
Good news.
Good news. The one who created everything, his name is Allah. And Allah has made you his
Prophet.
prophet. And Hazrat Ibrahim came home and he said to his father, Father, what are you doing? Stop doing this. These are not our gods.
What was his reaction then?
He was very angry. He cursed his son. Hazrat Ibrahim was cursed and scolded by his father.
How did Hazrat Ibrahim disrespected idols?
That is still to come. So that day Hazrat Ibrahim left and he went to temple where people worshipped idols. And he said to people, these idols, they don't eat, they don't listen to you. Why you worship them? And people were angry. And they told him to stop, otherwise he will be punished. So then what happened one day, that everyone went to a fair. There was a fair taking place. So all the people went to the fair.
And they went to other country for...
No, they all went to the fair and there they were having good time. And
With
they
Hazrat
asked,
Ibrahim?
No. And they asked Ibrahim to go with them. And he said, no, I'm a bit sick, I will not go. So once everyone was gone, Hazrat Ibrahim took an axe and went into the temple. And with that axe, he cut all the hands and heads of all the idols in the temple, except for one, the big one.
Why?
That's the whole idea. And he left the axe in the neck, hanging in the neck of that big idol.
Oh, so everybody think that
Yes.
killed all of
He killed all the other idols. So when people came back and they went straight to the temple, what they saw made them very angry. They quickly realized that someone must have done this, and they quickly realized that there was only one person that did not go to the fair. And they
and did
called
not
him
also like the idols.
idols, right?
It was Hazrat Ibrahim.
Yes. So they called Ibrahim to the temple and they said, "Did you do that?" And Hazrat Ibrahim said, "Well, the axe is hanging round the neck of this big one. He must have done this." And people were very upset. They said, "How could he do it? He's an idol." So Hazrat Ibrahim said, "Then why you worship them if they cannot do anything?"
That's the time he was waiting for.
Yes, he was waiting for that time. And when he gave this answer that he must have done it, and if he cannot do it, then why you worship them, they were very angry. So they took him straight to the king. And the king, what was his name? Namrud. And Namrud for the first time saw someone in his kingdom who disobeyed the idols. And Namrud said, "Who is your God?" And Ibrahim said, "Allah." And Namrud said, "What Allah does?
What is his qualities?
What is his qualities?" And Hazrat Ibrahim says, "He gives life and Allah gives death."
So he said, I can do this also.
Yes, he said, "I can do this also." He said, "If I kill a prisoner, a person, then I give death. And if I spare his life, set him free, then I have given him life. I do the same."
That's a really lame excuse.
Yes, it's a very lame excuse. And Hazrat Ibrahim said, "Oh, okay. Allah rises sun from where?
West.
East.
East.
Allah rises sun from the east. Why don't you do it the other way around and make it rise from the west?" And all the people were standing and they were listening, and in front of so many people, Nimrud was insulted. So what do you think? He was happy or angry?
Angry.
Yes, he was very angry that he was insulted in front of all the people because he didn't have answer to this question. Do you think is there anyone who can raise sun from the west
No.
except Allah?
Allah. Oh,
So,
God.
who's the God? He's the God. And that time Namrud said that I'm going to punish Ibrahim in a way that no one will ever question me again.
How was he going to punish him?
Yes, so he said that dig a deep pit, a hole in the ground, and fill it with wood, lots of wood, and then burn it. And
But it
take.
can't burn. But Ibrahim can't.
Yes, let's see what happens next. And then raise a ladder, a pillar very high, and take Ibrahim on the top of that pillar, and gather all the people around, and throw Ibrahim from the top into that fire and kill him.
But it can't.
So the fire was started. The fire was started, and pillar was made. And once the fire was red hot, they brought Ibrahim out of the prison and let him climb up to the tower. And once on the tower,
Was Ibrahim scared or not?
yes, that's a very good question. But
No.
He was
Because he had
not.
strong belief.
He had a strong belief, right? And once he was at the top, Hazrat Jibreel came to him and he said, "Do you want me to help you?" And you know what Hazrat Ibrahim answered?
No.
He said, "I don't need your help. Allah is enough for me." And right then a bugle sounded. All the people got up to see the only person who disobeyed Namrud to go into the fire. And they were very happy and excited. So Hazrat Ibrahim fell into the fire and fire got hold of him. So he didn't have to fall down. And it was a cool place, and from inside it looked like a beautiful garden.
And from outside was
It was a fire. It was a fire from inside, from outside, and from inside it looked like a beautiful garden.
Did Namrud also jump in the fire?
No, he looked and he said to everybody, "Look how I killed this person who disobeyed me. Now make sure no one disobeys me from now on."
he was very arrogant.
He was very arrogant and he was very happy. He thought that he killed Ibrahim.
But he can't.
He didn't. And Ibrahim stayed in that fire for some days. Yes, the fire was so big that it kept burning for many days. And then after some days, Hazrat Ibrahim came out of the fire. And everyone was shocked and amazed. And they were afraid of him. They said, "How can you come out of that big fire?" And Namrud went mad.
He was unharmed.
Ibrahim was unharmed. And Namrud didn't know what to do now. He had no clue. And he kept thinking what to do next. But he had no other way. He couldn't think of another way to kill Ibrahim. And Allah said to Ibrahim, "You leave this country now, and I'm going to take care of this Namrud."
So where he migrated?
He migrated to another place called Palestine, which is today's Palestine, a Muslim land. And once he left, Allah killed Namrud, and Namrud's kingdom was gone.
How
He
did he
was
kill
finished.
Namrud?
He killed by entering a mosquito into his nose that went straight into his head,
And he started to
bite him in the head. And that's how Namrud was killed. And that was the end of his kingdom. And Ibrahim then lived in Palestine and he came back to
So what
Iraq.
happened to the people of the kingdom of Namrud?
Namrud, some of them became Muslims, but many of them were still non-believers.
So didn't Allah punish them?
No, Allah didn't punish all of them. Allah doesn't punish all the non-believers all the time. Sometime He let them live and they will be punished on the day of judgment. So this is how Ibrahim became one of the most strongest prophets of all, because from his children there have been many, many more prophets.
Allah save Ibrahim.
Yes, Allah saved Ibrahim. That is one message of the story, right? What other message is there?
That he was a really patient man, and whereas his whole family and the whole tribe was a
Yes.
If we put our complete faith in Allah, He will never let us harm.
Let us harm, right? So tomorrow we will be listening to another story about the children of Hazrat Ibrahim. And one great thing I forgot to mention about Ibrahim. Do you know what is the meaning of Ibrahim?
No.
It means kind father, a father who loves his children, because Ibrahim loved children. Ibrahim was very nice to children. And you know those children who die when they are young and when they will go to Jannah? So Allah, in the Jannah, Allah will make Ibrahim father of all those children who died when they were young. And those children would love living and playing and
That's
talking to
really
Ibrahim.
amazing.
Yeah.
So children, here we end today's session of story time. Tomorrow we will be here again listening to another great story from Quran. Till then, Assalamu alaikum.
Story Time was brought to you by
न्यूयॉर्क में पाकिस्तानी अमेरिकन की रहनुमाई। पाकिस्तान अमेरिकन एसोसिएशन ऑफ न्यूयॉर्क का खासा है। अमेरिकन पाकिस्तानियों के बाइज्जत और बावकार मकाम के लिए कोशां। पैनी का हर कदम आपके हम कदम।